Our girl.
It's not quite Michael Bloomberg, but this is really interesting. So I've noticed it just because I'm a crazy person who reads all the articles and is on Twitter all the time reading about this stuff. But Elizabeth Warren
floundering.
Elizabeth Warren, and I guess I'm not going to bury the lead here. I've showed you guys this on stream, I think in a video yesterday, but the brown line here, it's kind of fitting, is Elizabeth Warren. And I remember on this day, I believe it was right here, I said, okay, this is probably it. Warren is probably passing Bernie right here for the last time. Bernie's probably never going to regain that lead from Warren. They fought for a while, and it's probably, because you'll notice for a while it looked like I was right. And then everybody got to see what Elizabeth Warren, front runner for president, because you'll notice for a brief moment she briefly leaves Biden, and she has absolutely died in the polls because of it. Now, obviously,
because she started talking and giving explanations for all of her plans.
We'll get into this more.
You'll notice that before she had to talk about how she would actually fund Medicare for all, she was skyrocketing because everybody loves a freebie. Everybody loves unicorns and ponies until you tell how you're going to get unicorns and ponies.
That's not true, though. That's not true at all. People like Bernie Sanders because he tells them, look, your taxes will go up. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, he's at least authentic about it.
People don't necessarily...
She was all talk and no substance. And as soon as the substance came out, people realized this substance sucks, and then she tanked.
People don't trust her. We'll get into a minute why they don't trust her. People don't trust Elizabeth Warren. They think she's... now, there's the really famous moment. Let's see if I can pull it up for you guys here in a second, where Elizabeth Warren was asked by again, I don't want to say a supporter, because I just don't know if she supports Elizabeth Warren, but somebody who was at an Elizabeth Warren event, if her kids went to a private school, and she said no. But her kids did.
Is this lie number 3,627?
Well, this is, by the way, at the, this is late in her absolute just down. I mean, like, she is diving in the polls. It's crazy. Again, she could, of course, rise in the polls again, right? But
the one where she said, I never sent my children to private schools. Oh, I'm a woman of the people. Oh, wait a second.
Well, just watch this video.
I sent my kids to a school that cost $18,000 a year.
Just watch the video right here. Video right here.
Because I read that your children went to private school. No, my children went to public school. But we might be your kids because I read that your children went to private school. No, my children went to public school. But we
no, as far as we could tell. And again, full disclosure, it's the articles from the Federalist. It's not quite the most, Democrat favorable thing.
But I mean, look, if you've got the video there, you've got the picture there. I mean, come on, I don't
Warren
care.
also sent her son to Haverford School in Pennsylvania while she was teaching at the University of Pennsylvania. Okay, so the New York Post reported Warren initially sent her son to a private school in Austin while she was a professor at University of Austin, but then when she was a professor of University of Pennsylvania, he went to school in Pennsylvania. So again, I have to be honest, I don't hate on Elizabeth Warren for sending her kids to private school. It's just weird that, as they mentioned in this article, it really clashes with her stance on academics. It says Warren's fabricated narrative about sending her children to public school is likely because the truth would conflict with her own education policy. Warren has proposed eliminating private and charter schools by diverting their funding to public schools, yet she sent her son to a private school and was an adamant supporter of school choice when she wrote her book, The Two-Income Trap. Warren's flip-flopping stance is likely an attempt to pander to public school activists. Again, people don't trust Elizabeth Warren. This happened a couple days ago when someone said, they don't trust Elizabeth Warren because
she lies about everything. Her problem is a problem that's endemic of the Democrat Party as a whole, in the sense that the grift is running out. Okay, you can't paint, like we were literally just joking about this yesterday, that you can't paint the opposition party as being, those white racists that live in ivory towers, and then keep being a bunch of white nor'easterners that live in ivory towers.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest political donor in California of all of the trade unions and whatnot is LA Unified School District. I mean, the unions elect people here in California. Okay. And you can only for so long say, I'm a person of the people, and then live in a private, chateau or penthouse, and then send your kids to a private school before it catches up with you.
She doesn't even really claim to be a person of the people either, which I think is another reason why she's not very popular.
I think that's what's inferred.
She wants to tax, but no,
her attacks on the wealthy.
But it isn't. No, because she doesn't.
She's constantly.
She doesn't attack wealthy. She doesn't attack
wealthy.
No. Listen to me.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty interesting claim to try and back up that Elizabeth Warren does not attack the wealthy.
She only attacks people richer than her. Sorry, I forgot $12 million is chump change. People were 12. Please, my 12
She's
million.
worth 12, and then her wealth tax kicks in at 17.
50. But the point being is this. She only cares about the rich people that are considerably wealthier than her. There seems to be this interest of if you're way richer than me, that's a problem. But it's like Elizabeth Warren.
She's pulling a Bernie Sanders 2.0. It's just like Bernie Sanders, who used to condemn millionaires until he became one, and now he condemns billionaires.
But remember, she's worth 6 times more than Bernie Sanders even. Like, she's a wealthy individual who never really claims to be the person of the people. She only she just says billionaires need to pay more in taxes. The billionaires don't pay enough. It's like, okay, but what about the people making over 10 million, Elizabeth Warren? That's a lot of money.
You don't think
or worth that?
Her
not
shtick hasn't been
worth
person of
that.
the people. She literally faked an ethnicity of a minority group. She was trying to be person of the people for so much.
No, but she's not. What I'm saying is this: Elizabeth Warren doesn't paint herself as I'm Elizabeth Warren. Vote for me because I'm one of you. I'm a person of the people. She doesn't talk like that ever. It's another reason why people don't trust her, because she doesn't even lie and claim to be a person of the people. She talks a lot about the middle class. She talks a lot about how she will talk about. I don't want to be unfair to Elizabeth Warren. She'll talk a lot about how she was a single mother and some of the stuff she had to do, how she put herself through school.
Wait, so you think people don't trust her because she doesn't claim to be of the people? See, I feel like people don't trust her because she's consistently claiming to be of the people and saying, see, I'm just like you. I sent my kids to public schools. Oh, wait, no. You didn't. It cost $18,000 a year, and we've got a picture of him in the yearbook of this private school. Oh, no, I'm just like you, minorities. I know what it's like to be persecuted. In fact, for 20 years, I took awards on behalf of American Indians.
Kind of implies like that weird video. But a good example is that video where she drank the beer. I'm gonna go get a beer right now. Everyone's like, that's weird and forced and corny. My point exactly. She doesn't even really lie and try. It's just like this weird forced.
But isn't
corny
that a lie?
show.
Isn't that a lie and a try to force yourself to try and
not,
have a beer on
it's
Instagram?
Maybe it's a way of putting it. I just think, like I said, people find her so inauthentic all the time that they don't trust her.
Yeah, but isn't inauthenticity the basis of the term lie? See, I look at Elizabeth Warren, I just think liar.
Not at all.
I just think liar. She lies.
But that's not, no. You can be inauthentic and tell the truth. It happens actually a lot. It's a lot of people like that.
Okay, yes. Look, I feel like this is just getting into a semantic argument.
I know, because you love semantic arguments, because you will never back down at any point ever until you semantically prove you're correct.
No, that's not true. It's that I am correct most of the time.
There we go.
And you'll come around.
Moving on. Moving on. I wanted to point out something again, because again, we've talked a lot about Elizabeth Warren. I want to get into some of the articles I pulled up.
I should know she was your girl so much. You're pretty defensive of Elizabeth Warren. No.
You know what? You were actually talking about the other day why I would defend Warren. Anyway, Warren drops in the polls can simply reflect the travails of a frontrunner whose numbers drop in the face of scrutiny, but then bounce back. Biden went through that cycle in recent months, losing ground to Warren in national polls before bounding. She says, we're in this race to build a grassroots movement for big structural change, or Warren's Iowa spokesperson, James Noble said. That's what we're doing and we'll continue to do. The results of the latest flagship Iowa poll released earlier this month are perhaps the most telling sign of a shift for Warren. She fell by 6 points, the first time since December 18 that her numbers declined in a quarterly survey. Buttigieg is in the lead, with Warren, Sanders, and Biden essentially tied for second, which is. Dynamics in Iowa are a microcosm of the senator's national struggles. In the National Quinnipiac poll released Tuesday, Warren plummeted to 14%, down from 28.
That's rough.
That's a 50% decrease, right?
That is rough.
When she led the organization's poll. The Tuesday survey also found that support for Medicare for All dropped to 36 from 43 in March.
So she's struggling.
Not only is she struggling, Warren did not air TV ads in Iowa until this month. While she was dark, Buttigieg supported more than $2 million in TV spots that went after Medicare for All, saying he would not dictate people's health insurance choices. Additionally, they go down a little bit, and this is where I really, really want to talk about a little bit here, is, oh, sorry, it's a little bit higher. Apologize for that. Is when they're talking about Elizabeth Warren, one of the interesting things happening right here is the only conversation happening among undecided caucus goers is about health care. The thing about Iowa we're known for is being an agricultural state, but we're one of the insurance capitals of the world. I think people are more detail-oriented and policy-oriented in Iowa because a significant amount of our workforce is in the insurance industry. Why is that important? Because some Democrats expressed concern that Warren, however, unfairly, has been hurt by her embrace of Medicare for All, including her initial refusal to say whether it would mean a middle-class tax increase. Going back to what you were speaking about, listen to this.
Yeah, her lies about
Then the $20.5 trillion healthcare proposal Warren rolled out earlier this month only invited more questions, and she responded unevenly, making uncharacteristic gaffes when trying to explain it. In Iowa earlier this month, she said only billionaires' taxes would go up to pay for Medicare for All. But her plan stated otherwise. A few days later in Raleigh, North Carolina,
all lies.
Warren said
that's
that
forensically a lie.
A few days later in Raleigh, North Carolina, Warren said that immigration reform would bring in $2 trillion to help fund single-payer health care. But her plan estimated it would generate $400 billion. Her campaign had to clarify both remarks. So, clearly, in an area like Iowa where they're interested in healthcare, she's going to struggle. So again, this article is mostly focused on Elizabeth Warren losing her mojo in Iowa, but that's not the only thing I want to talk about. More people are taking notice of what's going on with Elizabeth Warren. We have another article here I found in the Washington Post that says, what happened to Elizabeth Warren? This is one of those headlines in a few months after for Elizabeth Warren may screenshot and abandoned fundraising emails. Remember when they wrote us off? So he goes on. This is my least favorite part of any article where they're filling. Anyway, this is what I want to show you guys. So they'll show you kind of what I showed you. The polling average for the National Democratic primary, where Warren is just absolutely, she was a rising star and it's just been really, really struggling the last little bit. I mean, you'll notice she's almost mirroring Harris as far as rising and falling. It's really bad. However, in this thing, they noticed something that's really interesting. They talk about the Quinnipiac poll. So Warren slips from a clear first at the end of October to a tie for third. Biden regained its lead. We took a bit more of a look when the shifts began by demographic. Here's the age, ideology, income, and race. Take a look. Now, I believe, going back up here to find the key for this, Warren would be this kind of dark red line. And you'll notice, among very liberal, she took a very big drop. Or among the moderate,
she had to start
she
spiking.
took a big drop.
She had to start explaining herself.
My point being is the moderates is where she fell off a cliff. Because going from almost 50 to 32 is bad, right? Going from 7 to 20 back to 5 is terrible. I mean, basically, it's you almost had them. It was almost like she had the Iowa moderates fooled for a minute, and then nope, not anymore. And then we'll also notice here.
That's like a con man.
By
whose con
ethnicity,
gets
it does the
figured out.
same thing, but you'll notice it's the same little plateau and flatline, plateau and flatline, plateau and flatline. That's got to be Biden, isn't it? The line that's off the chart. And then once again, age even. So there's the thing that's scary for Elizabeth Warren here. There's no demographic she can really pin this recent fall on. It's everything. It doesn't matter the race, doesn't matter your ideology, doesn't matter your income level. You don't like Elizabeth Warren as much as you did just a few weeks ago. And that is not very good at all for Elizabeth Warren. So the biggest thing is here, and the guy mentions it here at the bottom. He says the most important caveat here is only to begin with. The field is awfully fluid. Plenty of time for Warren to have a second surge, as Buttigieg did. Plenty of time for her team to print out this article and use it as an example of the short-sighted punditry of the chattering class. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I had this over here the whole time. Anyway, point being, there's a lot of people talking about Elizabeth Warren starting to fall in the polls. Doesn't mean she is done. Doesn't mean her campaign's over. But like I said, we're going to go through and look at these graphs again. This line's Warren. This dark red line's Elizabeth Warren. The one that just is noticeably taking a massive hit in seemingly every demographic here. I mean, we noticed.
Well, she peaked early because she's been
big hit.
She's been calling herself the "I have a plan for that" candidate, and when all of a sudden the "I have a plan for that" candidate was forced to explain what her plan is, people started analyzing it. Didn't check out.
Well, speaking of having a plan for that, if you're Elizabeth Warren and you are finding yourself recede from national frontrunner to maybe also ran, maybe Bernie just kind of re-wins, because Bernie and Warren have a lot of similar, I would say a lot of their policies start in similar places and kind of go.
Yeah, Frederick Engels' writings of the 1920s.
Oh my God. No, but they both propose a wealth tax. They disagree on the numbers. They both propose some form of single payer. They disagree on the numbers, right? They're both similar there. I think someone wins that war. But Elizabeth Warren, clearly struggling, who needs to do something to really reconnect with voters. And again, I showed you, it's not any particular demographic she has to reconnect with. Voters in general want to hear more from Elizabeth Warren. So I just went to look. What is Elizabeth Warren talking about? What is she rolling out? Now, the first thing I want to get off and talk about this, nothing against Elizabeth Warren for wanting to, if we gave medals of honor to people who did something bad, not something good, I'm totally for taking those medal of honors back, especially if it's for an incident 150 years ago. It's not, this is not that controversial. However, one,
what are you doing?
I believe Elizabeth Warren's been in Senate for a very long time, because I want to highlight something here. By the way, the Wounded Knee Massacre, one of the deadliest attacks on Native American people by the United States military, took place December 29th, 1890. Amid a crackdown on the religious movement called the Ghost Dance, U.S. troops arrested a Lakota leader, Chief Bigfoot, and confined him and his people to a camp in South Dakota. When they were asked to surrender their weapons, a gun went off and soldiers opened fire. More than 300 Lakota Sioux are thought to have been killed. We were talking about this before the thing, and just to to end the debate, I guess, Congress formally apologized in 1990. No, it didn't provide any reparations. It formally apologized. So essentially, Elizabeth Warren is asking Senate, which she's been a part of, I believe, for a while, to step up, I guess, and bring these 20...
He wants to revoke the medals of honor.
However, this is what I want to highlight. Again, it's not a totally ignoble goal. I don't disagree with it. I'm not gonna protest against this. But Elizabeth Warren's presidential campaign's floundering. Every demographic she's taking a massive hit in, and digging up 150-year-old. Like this is the reason I want to highlight this is why people say these people do nothing in Senate when they aren't running for president and they can just comfortably be in Senate or Congress or wherever for 15 years. They don't do anything. Now he's just running for president. Oh, we got to make sure we do this. Okay. Well, Congress apologized 30 years ago. It feels like the kind of shameless knee-jerk pander move you make to try to get your name in the press. Because it's a pretty... like I said, I'm not a Warren supporter, and I'm not going to push back on her for doing this. I'll say, sure, if we shouldn't have given the medals of honor 100 years ago, we can rescind them now. I don't care, but what a weird thing to go into when your campaign's floundering, right?
Yeah, and it to me, it just adds to the inauthenticity, and it makes people think that she's a liar, just because, Elizabeth, why, when people still thought you had Native American heritage in you and you were still bamboozling and conning the American people into thinking that you were part, albeit 1024th or whatever you claimed, part Native American, wouldn't that have been even more of a reason for you to pick up this banner and run with it? But since you didn't while you were in the Senate, it makes me think that this is just a really super de-duper shameless ploy to try and traffic in the misery of the Lakota Sioux for a great injustice that was done to them. Yeah. I mean, if Mormons still remember the Hans Mill massacre, all right, nearly 200 years after it happened, as a defining moment in the persecution of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I can guarantee you that the Sioux still are angry and sensitive to the Wounded Knee massacre. And yes, I think more needs to be done. But why don't you care about things until you're getting elected? There's this politician that is technically a member of our church, but we have this joke: how do you know when it's election season? Oh, because this person is showing up to church. You know what I'm saying? That's literally a joke in our congregation, that's when you know election season's coming up, because a certain somebody starts showing up again. Okay. And it's because it's close to election season, and we can see right through it. You can see right through it. It makes me think not only is she shameless and dishonest, but she thinks the people she's lying to are stupid. One of the best memes I've ever seen in my life about parenting is a meme that I saw yesterday where the woman posted this graphic that says, the older I get, the more stupid I realize my lies as a child to my parents looked. You know what I'm saying? Because as a parent, you can start seeing right through your kids are like, I didn't do anything. You know, we can see straight through Elizabeth Warren. And the fact that she keeps trying to portray herself as a person of the people, especially the disenfranchised American Indian people, I have no patience for these people. I made a little graphic for you.
I saw
my analog meme. Did you like that?
Analog meme. It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, I thought it was interesting pointing out that a lot of people are noticing that Elizabeth Warren's struggling. Again, it seems to be across demographics. And yeah, it's just, what's a response to this? I'm going to do this bill I probably could have released over the last 6 years she's been in Senate. By the way, somebody in Congress put this bill forward in July. So it's like, it does feel like the kind of thing where it's like, this is Elizabeth Warren's big move right now. Is she's going to do something. She's going to introduce a bill into Senate that's already been introduced by Congress. That's about 150-year-old massacre, which, by the way, as I've said multiple times, I have no problem with doing. I just feel like maybe that's the kind of stuff you should be doing when you're a senator and not when you're running for president. Because it feels a little less hollow when you're a senator doing your job saying, hey, look, I'm up here in Senate to make sure stuff like this doesn't be forgotten. that is a much better sell than I'm running for president and just happen to be doing this PR layup bill. I don't know. I don't want to get, again, I spent more time talking about it than I wanted to, but that's it. So before I wrap up for the day, there's one thing I wanted to show you guys.
Hit it.
I like to highlight when candidates do good stuff on social media. I like to highlight it. So one of my dark horse 2020 candidates once again returned to Twitter and posted a video, and I want to highlight the latest John Delaney video. So Mr. John Delaney said
is he a presidential candidate, or is he just doing an infomercial now for like Total Gym 2020?
Well, we'll check it out. We'll check it out and listen. So this is John Delaney right here. We'll check him out. Kind of quiet.
30-minute documentary. Check it out at johndelaney.com.
That's all I was got to say. And then he doesn't talk anymore, so it's just, and there we go.
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah, man just hammers him out there. It was a good form.
Dude, that is hardcore, man.
Yeah. So hopefully, maybe what Elizabeth Warren needs to do is surge in the polls, is do some ab rollers and show people she's in good shape too. Maybe she'll take a page of a Bernie Sanders book and throw in a layup or a free throw from 5 feet away in a basketball hoop. Bernie loves doing that.
Dude, he's still going, bro. I could do like 2 of those.
Oh yeah, no, he's
man. Delaney, my man.
So
Delaney, my man.
I just want to make sure, because also my man John Delaney also got no credit recently when an article came out in Forbes, I believe it was. Now in this Forbes article, they were talking about the rich billionaire entrepreneur businessmen that are running for president. People like Michael Bloomberg, people like Tom Steyer, and people like Andrew Yang, which I thought was really weird because we were talking about earlier, Andrew Yang is worth less money than like Bernie Sanders. He's worth less money than Elizabeth Warren's husband, who I don't think is like some like billionaire entrepreneur guy. I think like they mostly have shared income. Like he's not worth that much money. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, they want to paint him as the billionaire business guy. And it's really weird to me because who they omitted in that article, the reason why I'm bringing it up, they omitted John Delaney from the article.
Oh.
Like John Delaney's worth so much more money than Andrew Yang is worth. He's worth like literally like $300 million.
Let Delaney speak. Let Delaney speak.
Or just acknowledge him. Don't even let him speak. Just acknowledge that he exists. I think Delaney just wants like a wave sometimes, a nod. Just don't worry, Delaney. We know you. We know you're real. We know you're actually running for president, man. Like don't.
Hey, whose hat is that? Who got the Problem Solver Politics hat?
I think there's one more shout out. So this will be a shout out to our friend Sam B over there at Wired. There we go. At Wired Mindset, he got a hat as well. So
rock on.
Very cool. Shout out to you guys. So that's it for today, guys. Anything else you have to say, Card?
Just I can't believe people still consider Elizabeth Warren a candidate and believe a word that's coming out of her mouth. That's all I got to say about that. If we're wrong, please let us know in the comments below. If you guys want to contribute to the channel, there's a PayPal link that's in this video. You can donate straight to the channel directly, or you can be like Sam, pick up a hat on problemsolverpolitics.com. And no matter what, make sure you give us a call and you leave us a voicemail. We always love responding to voicemails at 1-833-PSP-RADIO. That's 1-833-PSP-RADIO. Other than that, I think we're good, my man.
Oh, one last thing. I didn't know about this. There's no calendar. I guess we're not Facebook friends. But shout out to our good friend, Paget KG. It's her birthday today. So shout out, Paget. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Paget.
Enjoy your 22nd birthday. Hope you have a lot of fun. And that is all, man. That's all I got for today.
All right. This is Problem Solver Politics. See you in the next video.